Okay, so today we're actually looking at another microphone. Yeah, this one's from the guys over at SVBONY. I believe that's how you pronounce it. I'm not 100% sure. Again, pronouncing, you know. Anyways, what's cool about this is their SVmic D4. So what's cool about this microphone, from what I can tell before I even open the box, is that if you need up to 4 transmitters, so you're doing an interview with 4 different people, or you want to grab sound from 4 different areas, whatever, this is going to be super nice. Plus I don't believe these are overly expensive. I will put again links down below so that you guys can go check out what the pricing is of these, plus possibly get some future specs if you're in the market for a microphone like this. Anyways, pretty standard white box. You guys can see it right there, the SV mic D4, input 5V, 400 milliamps. Okay, that's about it. That's about all that's on here. And then we just crack this open. Oh, it does come with a case. We do have to say I like that. I like when stuff comes with a case, especially for microphones. That's kind of nice. And that's good. That's good looking, right? Kind of looks Sony-esque. Just saying. Anyway, let's open that. And what do we get in here? Look at that setup. That's pretty handy. Now, if you are looking for a small microphone, something that you can tuck in a helmet, or it'd be a little more incognito, these got a little bit of size to them for sure. But if you're doing like professional stuff, or like I said, you're doing interviews and you don't mind this sitting there, or you want to snap it onto a mic that's maybe sitting just out of shot, then you should be good with these. You are going to get, of course, your manual here and a whole bunch of cables. So these are all the cables you could possibly need. So this has everything for plugging into like a 3.5 millimeter USB-C, and it has a USB-C to lightning adapter. So that's it right there, little USB-C to lightning adapter. So if you are plugging into like an older phone, but USB-C for most of us is probably what we're going to require to have these plugged in. So we'll just keep that off to the side. And then you're going to get some of your additional things. So inside here is all your wind muffs. So you're going to have 4 wind muffs because maybe you're outdoors. You're outdoors doing all this. I do like that this comes with a case though. Anyways, this is going to be your receiver. So that's going to be your USB for plugging this in to your, I would say you could use this to plug into your camera, right? Whatever camera that this audio is going to. There's your little headphone jack, right? If you're going to be plugging it, I guess, out. So for or this would possibly be for monitoring. My guess would be for monitoring. So you're going to plug your headphone jack on there. It does come with your standard clips, which again, if you have a cold shoe, you'll be able to just slide it into the cold shoe mount. You have your power and you have your dB right there. So for a little bit of mic adjustment, cool. And then on each of these, of course, you're going to have the active noise canceling if you want to be able to turn that on. So you want to get some, maybe you're doing it in a loud environment. Again, your mute and power on buttons. These also have little magnets with each of them. So again, if you don't want to have to clip that, you can just kind of place that like that, which I appreciate. I didn't think they were going to come with that, but I would say each one of those comes with it. Of course, each one comes with its own microphone inside it, or you can plug in an external microphone. So if you have a different lab that you want to be able to have, there's going to be your USB-C. So that would be for charging, I would think, charging all of these, because again, that's probably why you get so many of these cables. You get one USB-A that goes out to 4 of these. So that's going to be what charges them all. 4 of them, 5 of them, 5 of them. Yeah, so 5 parts. So that's going to be for your charging. Anyways, that's pretty cool. So let's just take one of them, see how they connect. So that's going to be our receiver. So all we should have to do is hit that little power button there. That should turn it on. As long as there's power, yeah, you get a little welcome, and it goes through and will tell you what the batteries are like in these. And then this one here, which is the transmitter. Now the transmitters don't have any screen, which is nice because this does, and just gets that information. So if I turn this on, right, just you'll see it go blue here, and it says, yep, bud, good, we're connected and we are getting a signal, and our battery looks like it's pretty close to full charge. Plus you get a full charge down here as well. Now, if you were to plug in or turn on another one, for instance, we'll just randomly pick one here. That one should connect. So this is 3. It does still say it's mono. So we have this little microphone DB jack down here. So this one, yeah, so you can actually see your DBs. You can go, so you can lower it. It's like a little volume thing. We'll keep it back to where it was. So cool. And again, on this one, you have an active noise canceling. I wonder if you click that, if anything happens here. Yeah, so it actually says ENC1 there. Now, what you could do, you know, depending like an environment like this, where I actually have some sound happening in the back, you guys may or may not be able to hear it. I'm going to actually put both of these mics on. Yes, right? So this one and this one. And I'm wondering if I'll be able to hear the difference between the two. So we'll just take this. This is one of them. We'll just put you right there. Same idea. We'll take this one. I'm going to put you in the same spot. So one has ENC, one does not. Good? Yeah. This is here. Again, it shows that everything is on there. We're getting meter readings for both, so I do appreciate that. That's going to go over here. So we have a couple different USB cables that you and I could use. So depending on what we need, there's going to be, again, this is for your older iPhone, right? That USB-C to Lightning. This is going to be your USB to USB. These are both USB-Cs, of course. So let's try this first. We actually have my phone. So this is the receiver. So I'm going to plug one end into this. Excellent. And we'll plug the other end into my iPhone. So in theory, we should get a little mic thing pop up. Let's see if that happens. Now let's bring up a piece of software here. So let's bring up Blackmagic, see if anything actually showed it up. So we'll go into our audio source. Yeah, USB audio. Perfect. Right? There we go. So we can go to our camera here. That's going to be our microphone. It is showing that we are getting, right, USB audio. We can see that we are getting good meters. So we'll come down here and do a recording. So now we are getting a recording from actually both of these microphones. So I'm not 100% sure. I might have to do it in the editing suite to be able to see which channel you're hearing. And they're, you know, they're not any different in distance from where I'm speaking. So it should give you a good idea of what these sound like. So there you go. Really, that's kind of important. All right, let's close that off. Excellent. And then let's do one more. We're going to actually plug this into just a little camera. So I've had some decent success with the little Ultra here, because the Ultra does allow you and I to be able to plug in a USB mic. So I'm just going to grab an SD card here, because it does allow for that external connection. We're going to just turn this on. Excellent. Same idea. So this time, instead of plugging it into a phone, you'll see right off the start, it says that there's no mic attached, or else you'd get like little meters come up on the top. So we'll just plug this in, and it should detect a microphone, is the hope. There it is. Microphone showed up, and we should start to get meters in a second here. Meters, there you are. Meters are showing up. Excellent. So we will do another one of these. We'll just flip this around for us. There it goes. It takes a second here for it to flip over. Let's just see if this actually works. Ready? I'm going to turn it on. And again, we are now recording with, now the Ultra, you guys can see it's all plugged in here, right? The Ultra with the external mic plugged in. And if you, again, you were plugging this into, let's say, your computer, you could use the USB-C cable. If you're plugging it into your camera, like an actual, like an SLR or a mirrorless or something, you do have the 3.5 millimeter for doing that. But really the concern is, what does the sound quality sound like? So hopefully you get an idea. Again, I'll put a marking if I can figure out how to switch which is with the noise canceling on and which is not. So I'll just kind of put them in the bottom corners here. So you get an idea of what these sound like. Well, I have to say, you know, I'm going to say it. If you're looking for a pretty full functional little kit, just, you know, with everything kind of on there, I'll just power these off, right? That's not a bad option. Now, you guys have heard the actual sound. So, of course, ooh, I got a little magnet falling down my shirt somewhere. So you guys have heard the actual audio. So you should be able to hear that and be like, yeah, I'm down with that. Or no, I want better. Or, it's fine. Or you can answer your own questions. Really, for me, I just want to make sure you guys heard the audio. I'm going to make sure all these cables are tucked back in here because that's kind of important. I like the case, etc. And yeah, that's kind of nice.
All right, before we wrap this up, let's talk about the SVBONY SVmic D4, what it is and who it's really built for. SVBONY is a company that's been known mostly for optics, things like telescopes and camera gear, but lately they've been putting out some surprisingly solid creator tools, and this mic system is one of them. The SVmic D4 is a 4-person wireless mic setup, which is awesome if you're doing interviews, podcasts, or anything with multiple speakers. You get 4 transmitters and 1 receiver, so everyone gets their own mic, no passing a single one back and forth. It's got a really strong 200-meter range, clean audio thanks to built-in DSP noise reduction, and the transmitters run up to 14 hours on a charge so you can shoot all day. It connects easily through USB-C, Lightning, or 3.5 millimeter, which means it'll work with your camera, phone, or laptop, whatever you're recording on. Basically, it's built for creators who want simple, reliable, multi-mic audio without breaking the bank. Think interviews, small productions, even event coverage. If you want to learn more or grab one, there's a link down below. And if you've tried it already, drop a comment and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.